Hello again, everyone. So in our last lesson, we introduced the subject of data binding. Now, I'll continue on this topic in this lesson because I want to show you the use of string interpolation. So I want to continue on this component. Now, see here, there's a static variable in the HTML page. Actually, we want to make it static. So I want this to change with the variables. I will use the TypeScript page. Now, let's see how we do it. So look at this here now. We are showing a product here, and I want this product to have an ID, and I want to make this ID definition in the TypeScript file. Next, I'll use it in the HTML page. So now I'll create this dynamic field in the TypeScript file. And we're going to do these operations in this class. I'm now defining a number variable as product ID, and I'll write 1 as the value. Now, as a second variable, we can check whether to see if it's in stock or not. So I'll define a string variable and call it stock status. So we can enter yes or no as a value. Right now, I'll enter yes. Now, as we talked about earlier in TypeScript, we had no problem when we give an initial value here. So I've used this variable as number, but of course we can use it that way, right? Same goes for string values, right? So I choose to use it here so that you can see both uses. All right. So now it's time to learn how to use these variables in the HTML file. So now I'm doing the edits here, and the first to come up will be the first dynamic variable ID. Now we've got to use double curly braces to define this variable here. And inside of that, I write the variable name. Now there may be different uses between these brackets, of course. For example, we can write a string value, or we can call a string method, or we can do mathematical operations, for example, adding two numbers, but we won't be able to use multiple lines, block statements, or loops. Does that make sense? So as a result, the value is going to be a string. All right, so that is the basic use of string interpolation. We've defined a variable in the TypeScript file, and we called it in double curly braces inside the HTML file. All right, so now let's finish the edits and see what we can do in the browser. And here we can see the values that we give to TypeScript. And look at this, we actually define the ID value as number. We said in the string interpolation, the result would be string, and this didn't cause any problems because a number value can easily be converted to a string, so that's no problem. But now I want to show you how to use the method in double brackets before we finish our lesson. So for this, I'll first write a simple method in the TypeScript file and return this value with method. Now I call method in HTML, and there's no change when we've saved the changes because the result of the method turned into a string easily, and it worked without any problems. All right? So that's how you use string interpolation. Now we're going to talk about property binding in our next lesson. So until then, have some fun, but review a few things as well. All right? See you next time.